The inland fuel petition has been continued to the next meeting because of the fact that we could not have a hybrid meeting. And that the appeal that had been filed by Highland Ridge has also been continued to January. So those are the two matters that we have that are being continued to the January agenda, but we have a couple of administrative matters. I'm not sure if we got the November 18th minutes yet.
We didn't. No, we didn't.
Okay, so
we cannot approve those.
We can't approve those since we don't have them. The second matter was to approve the calendar for 2021.
Yeah, Lisi, I wanted to ask that we consider 3 changes, even though I drafted it, which I apologize for.
No problem.
Since we've decided to eliminate the second date, which allows the applicant to submit supplemental information. The closing date for the March 3rd hearing, I wanted to change the closing date for materials to January 29th. So basically for each of the 3 changes I'm proposing, it brings it up to, it's between 32 and 33 days between when they have to submit their complete petition and when the hearing is. So that would change March 3rd, the closing date would be January 29th. And the other changes would be change August 6th to July 30th for the September 1 hearing. And then October 29th for the December 1, 2021 hearing, just because of the nuances we talked about going to the Sakana Times for advertising, make sure I don't have any blips with advertising time. I just want to get a couple extra days.
Julie, I don't think we've ever voted on this before.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, as long as you're comfortable and we have everything that we need to be compliance with the, open meetings law and
Okay.
we give everybody notice, as long as the meetings are on a Wednesday, I think.
Yep, which they are.
Pretty much, I'm fine with it. And I don't think anybody else has any objections to your time schedule. I think
Okay.
you need to do that. And if you think we need a vote, I'm happy to take one.
Well, the only reason I thought maybe we should discuss it with the board was because we did change the format of the schedule a little bit by eliminating the, date for the applicant to submit supplemental materials, which, that added date seems to be something where even though there's a deadline with that, they're always trying to sneak stuff in after that date. So I think it'll be a lot cleaner if it's just, here's the closing date, submit your application. If your application is incomplete, you're not going to be on the next hearing date, or they might also be bumped if the schedule does not permit.
Well, I think, I think that's a good idea. And I don't think we should be accepting materials that come in more than 10 days in advance, but that they should be advised of that because of our rules of procedure. And, as far as the people that from the public, I'm a little more flexible with that, but, we can entertain that stuff contemporaneously since they have a right to be heard. So do we need it? I guess our lawyer's on here. Can we approve the calendar that Julie has requested with the changes that she's mentioned?
I'll make a motion to approve the calendar with the changes she just requested.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. All those in favor?
I'm gonna do
Jay.
a roll. Yeah.
Yeah,
George, Dave, me, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. And
Thank you.
I think other than that, is there any new business that we need to discuss?
What about voting on the continuations?
Oh, well, I think we sort of agreed. I think our lawyer had already agreed to those.
Yeah, but I think our rules of procedure require us to do it.
Well, I'm happy to do that. Obviously, the reason for the first continuance is that we can have the hybrid meeting. And I believe also the petitioner had also requested additional time to deal with the issues as far as the fire inspector's comments. So if you think that there's a reason to to vote on that, I'm happy to hear from everybody.
I think that for the record, we need to vote just to be clean.
Okay, fine. I'll move for a continuance of the first matter by Inland Fuel. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh, you second it, David.
Okay, David second. All those in favor? I think we have a unanimous vote of the voting members tonight. George, I can't see you. Did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay. And the other matter was the Highland Ridge Farm petition at 536 Highland Road rear. I don't believe the appellant had any objection. And I think that are discussions still ongoing to try to resolve the matter amicably without the need for a further hearing. So I will move to continue that appeal. And
I'll second.
Second by Jay Jackson. All those in favor? I think everybody's voted. Myself, Jay, Dave,
Yeah.
Yep.
George.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. And the other matter that I had a question about, I think this is for Julie. I know that we talked about being a little frustrated by the fire department, like sort of not weighing in on matters that we think that they should be getting. And I'm not sure if they're getting noticed of petitions, the pendency of petitions that might involve their input.
Right.
Do we give them input on all of our things?
I don't give them all of our petitions. Usually what happens, like with Inland Fuel, Bill and I will have a conversation and talk about whether, it needs to go to planning or whether there's anybody else that should get it. Dan Murphy, the fire marshal, was aware of that when he obviously submitted, I think 3 different letters as he became more familiar with the application and attended a couple meetings with the state fire marshal. So, but I have not been in the practice of giving him every application.
Well, I'm just throwing this out for discussion. It seems like if there's ever anybody that's requesting a setback variance, if the fire department may have concerns about access to a backyard, if the setback is drastically reduced so they can't get a truck back there. So I'm wondering if we should send the petition and request any feedback, any objecting materials from the fire department if they feel it's necessary to do that. I realize I don't read the notice ads in the Secana Times or where else we're advertising, but maybe we should be putting them on notice. How does everybody feel about that? Don't all jump in at once.
I think that if you automatically give them notice, then they can't argue that you haven't seen it.
Right. And I think, we really should get their input on a lot of these matters. Many of them are obviously not of interest to them, but they should be looking at them.
But are they really looking at them? I mean, they showed up to the last couple issues we had.
Yeah, but I don't think they were notified. I think they sort of got notified because of the potential hazards in that. I mean, I don't mean to call them hazards, but the concerns about the federally regulated propane and, I mean, I think there are interests that they learned about it, but maybe they should be getting it noticed on all of our petitions that could potentially involve the fire department and their access to property.
Okay.
I don't have no objection to it. I don't need it.
I mean, does anybody think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
I mean,
I think it's a great idea because I don't like them coming in at the last minute.
Now, I say that I made my comments with you in mind, Jake, and I thought they were very
Appreciate
well,
that.
and I think they were very well taken. So,
Thank you.
Julie, why don't we at least send them the petition?
Okay.
And and ask if they have an interest or an opinion to let us know so we can, have them be heard.
Okay,
I think that's our obligation as,
okay,
what's in the public interest.
okay.
That's exactly correct. 'Cause when they show up at the last minute with the letter in hand, you got to listen to them. They're the fire department.
I know. Of
You know,
course.
and meanwhile, the petitioners done all their work that they were required to do and didn't realize that they had a fire department problem. So,
Is there any other agency that we should be like notifying of the pendency of petitions that may impact? I mean, the only one that I think of right off is the
Water departments, no.
water department.
Like Stonebridge Water, if something around Stafford Pond or, that kind of stuff for now.
Julie, have they been getting notice of our anything that's in the
If it's
watershed
within,
district?
yeah, if it's within, right in the zoning ordinance, it talks about,
and the watershed district.
right, right. So that's really the only place at this point where we are notifying the water department or another municipality. Like there was a hearing, one of the ones on Stafford Pond where we had to notify the city of Fall River.
Right. Okay, well, I think if anybody else can think of one that we should be involving.
I think there was something with Newport Water Department with the pond.
Non-Quit Pond is part of the Newport Reservoir System.
Right. I think we
Right.
had to notify them for something.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
we,
think-
well,
I
we
think-
didn't do it, Dave. I forgot. And it came up later. There was something we did for.
I think they get notified because
It was
they're,
the four corner petition.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right.
they do come up when, like, for instance, for the one, I think it was 239 Pelletier, if memory serves me, when we pulled the abutter list, the city of Fall River came up on it. So they got the legal notice that went out to all of the abutters.
well, then, that's they would be notified as an abutter. I'm just trying to think of, public agencies that might have interests in voicing objections or approval of any other requests for zoning variances. But I think the only one I can think of is the fire department that it wouldn't ordinarily be notified as an abutter or being in the watershed district.
I have a question on a different subject whenever you're done with that.
Okay, I think we're done with that.
All right, and this is just because I've been on the board for a while, but sometimes stuff happens during a hearing and I get aggravated and I'm trying to figure out.
You get aggravated?
No. So Mary Ann swears in a witness. I think this is more for Lacey, Dave, and maybe Wendy. The people with Jack have been around for a long time. She swears in a witness and is supposed to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. They get in front of us, we ask questions, and we could believe them, not believe them, however they're going to go about this. What is their obligation to even tell the truth? Like, what is this swearing all about? Like, how can we enforce to know if someone actually telling me the truth where I know for a fact they're not? But they just swore to in front of us they're going to tell the truth. Like, what is this whole process of telling us the truth? Where do we have a power on that? I don't understand that.
George, do you have a specific example?
I don't want to open us. Yes. I mean, it just happened recently. I just don't want to open us to why do I think somebody lied? Yes. It's still in the discussion now. There's no doubt about it. That gentleman lied to his teeth, and that's why it's in discussion with him right now. But the question is, I'm not trying to point to one person or one petitioner.
Well,
Why
I think
it's that process swearing in? If they're lying, what is our recourse to that?
Well, we can refer the matter to the Attorney General to be investigated,
Okay.
or
that's
to
what
our
I want.
local police department to be investigated. I mean,
Okay.
I was a criminal defense lawyer for 44 years.
That's why I
and-
was.
You're not that old.
No, and nobody actually I don't- if I could count the people who told the truth on one hand, come on.
It's
you know,
aggravating.
But, George, I sympathize with you, but we're not a law enforcement.
We're not a court of law.
Yeah.
It's a,
So
it's,
why are we making them swear on? That's my question. What is that step for if we're not asking them?
Well,
to-
it's supposed to encourage people to tell the truth.
scare them.
Okay.
But,
Right.
you know, whether they do or not, you know, we're not given any kind of guarantees for that. So,
And if
I
they-
mean, if we find somebody that's being blatantly lying, we can, I mean, they're under oath, we could report them to our law enforcement, local or state law enforcement agencies.
Okay.
And I would think you want to create an evidentiary record. So if you really do hear something that you think is coming from a witness who's been sworn in and it is not truthful, it's probably a good idea to bring it up at that time and question them a little bit about it to get a little bit more on the record.
I almost did. I just didn't want to turn it into a belligerent discussion.
Not so much belligerence, George, but think of it as if you were conducting a deposition and you feel that there's someone who's not giving you an answer that either you're expecting or you know is the right answer. You press them a little. You have them reiterate it. You ask them the same question several different ways to see if you get the same answer. And at least then we've got a stenographer that's creating a record of the fact that someone on the board has realized that there's an issue. Because if none of us have realized it or none of us have said anything, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to then decide somebody's going to make an effort to turn around to the Attorney General's office if we haven't brought it to the forefront during the time we have that opportunity.
Okay. I really just needed a clear for next time something happens.
Oh yeah. I mean, ask anytime. Not that you're lucky you've got 3 lawyers on the board, but we try.
Hey, no problem. I'm done then.
Okay, anything else that we need to take up tonight? Seeing none. Have a very happy, lonely December holiday, everybody.
I call the meeting to adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second George.
All those in favor?